If you'd like to know what makes a great exchange sacrifice in chess, you've come to the right place. This game here was between Tronesu against the Trojan being one of the creators of the positional exchange sacrifice. Because when you think exchange sacrifice, you might be thinking, well, we're going to try and get dynamic compensation, give checkmate to the white king. But it also turns out that, you have two very strong bishops, you've got a very strong center, and yeah, it is true the White King is quite weak as well, but it's not the only factor here. By the way, for those of you who are not familiar with me already, I'm Grandmaster Max Illingworth. I was a two-time Australian chess champion. I'm currently a certified high-performance coach, FIDE trainer, and my mission is to help chess improvers like you to improve your chess as simply and as effectively as possible. Now, knight c2 is probably not the best move by white, but I'm going to focus a little bit more on it from black's point of view here. Because even if white plays correctly, black's still going to have very good compensation, right? Like, we can still see that, we can bring our bishop in, we can play on the queen side, we can loosen the king side. Black's the one who's got all the options in terms of the pawn structure. White goes knight c2, we play d5. Obviously we don't really care if they sack the queen. It's not going to work when we've got a bit of an escape square. White plays knight to d4 here. And in this position, we're faced with a question of how to defend the pawn on b5. And if you've been watching my content for a while, you're going to know that I basically recommend you try to defend as actively as possible, where it makes sense. And b4 is just a great move here where we're able to trade off some pawns. If they take, we just have to be a little bit careful that, you might be worried about a queen b4, knight c6 fork. But we do have the move of queen b6 to get that knight. So it's actually not that much of a problem in all fairness. But yeah, white plays the move a4 instead, trying to create the outside pass pawn. And black plays the move queen a7, which I actually like quite a bit, just setting up a double attack of sorts. White goes queen f2, black plays rook c8. You might be wondering here, well, why didn't black just play the move of queen a4? The problem with that is that white has a little bit of a counter trick with knight takes e6 and then rook takes e4. And you can't really take that rook easily because then you just run into this and you're just still down in exchange. And you also kind of lost your bishop pair and your strong central compensation. So in this position, black instead played the move of rook to c8, which takes that open file from white, and also still this is an idea. And here, white's move of b3 is very natural, but it was probably just a blunder where white probably had to instead play a move like knight b3, offering the pawn as bait, but at least allowing you to trade off the bishop and hold in that way with a little bit of a fork. If you're enjoying the video so far, do make sure to leave a like and also to subscribe to the channel. For those of you who are already subscribers, just make sure to tap that notification bell and set the notifications to all. That is going to ensure that you don't miss out on any of my future training videos, so that you may improve your chess as simply and as effectively as possible. And also something I realize as well as we kind of play for a few more moves of the game, is that, I realize you don't have infinite time to spend on your chess, so it's really important that you do that as effectively as possible, right? And that's where my stuff here comes in. So in this position, I think that a normal move would probably be just to play a move like h5, which, we can't just keep white guessing as to when we'll go h4 and just open up their king a bit. But we can also play moves like bishop c5 and, the bishop just rake the board in a position like this one, for example. But yeah, instead, Petrosian comes up with this funny move here of rook to c3, like another exchange sacrifice. And the funny thing is, it's actually a pretty decent move, because in the game after white takes, yeah, you're down to exchange as black, but, look at this pawn armada that you've got here, and, just look at how ineffective the white rooks are in this position. White is, like, if white plays rook c1, black's just going to go c2, and absolute worst case scenario, you can get your material back and just collect the harvest in a sense. Because if they try to defend the pawn, the king is getting mated, right? So white just has too many weaknesses to deal with, the weak king, the pass c pawn, you name it. And we also are threatening bishop d3, that's an added bonus. So that explains why white played rook ec1, who's kind of happy to sort of give up the exchange, even if, it would still be losing for white. But yeah, bishop b4, g4, black cashes in the chips. And now we have, no less than 3 pawns for the exchange, right? So if play proceeds normally, like black is just going to queen his pawns. So white has to try to get some counterplay, and he played the move f5, trying to create this counterplay. But black just covers it with take, take, and now the move g5, just keeping the king side closed. There's no queen e8 because the queen's covering it from behind. And ultimately, black went on to win here. Like, bishop c5 is a very nice move, realizing that, you know, rook c3 does run into queen a1, forking the queen and the king, the rook and the king. And if white plays queen e1 trying to cover them both, then, you know, we just take and we just win the pawn endgame, right? Like, this is just going to be easy. So white plays the move of h takes g5, black flicks in the check queen f4, and you can kind of see how exposed the white king is here, right? You know, after h takes g5, they still can't take because of bishop b4. Same pin comes into play. And Petrosian just does a good job of converting it, like just steadily bringing up the king. You know, it's an endgame. The king's a fighting piece in the endgame, right? King d3, bishop e5, you know, rook a5, trying to get some material back. But the problem is black just has too many pawns. Like, you can't cover this, and this at once. The game ended king e3, f6, rook c5, just going to be doing a little bit of an outflanking with the king. g4, you know, does give up a pawn, but it doesn't really matter because no pawn and the king just beat a lone rook, right? And you even have the bishop as giving a backup and, you know, making sure they're not going to just take the pawn f6. So that's the reason why white resigned. Like, if you go rook c4, it's only a matter of time before that pawn queens and you just win the game, right? So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this training. You know, Petrosian's game's certainly a lot of fun for seeing how the positional exchange sacrifice works. Let me know down in the comments below, you know, if you enjoyed this training and what other trainings you'd like me to do in the future. And on that note, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.